Now, during the same time, Christ the King was participating in the Senate's collaborative initiative, exploring questions to uncover God's purpose for our congregation. What is God doing in our lives and in our congregation? Where is the Holy Spirit leading us? And what are we being called to do? We were learning about our congregational assets and listening to our neighbors' needs. So the idea of expanding on the milkweed giveaway event, which was literally planted by the youth group, started to grow. We had been inspired by our work with the collaborative to think about how we could creatively engage our neighbors and showcase who we were as a congregation. We needed to intentionally invite the community to join us in our creation care ministry. This was bigger than our own Monarch way station and bigger than milkweed plants. This was the Holy Spirit at work. The first thing we did was to define the event, which was soon named Monarch Fest. We wanted to educate our neighbors of all ages about why they should care about this little insect who had become an international symbol for habitat loss. Give them an opportunity to help make a difference in addressing the issue, and maybe most importantly, explain why a church would be concerned about it. Oh, and because we're Lutherans throwing this fun event, we needed to have food. Learn how to create a monarch-friendly habitat in your own yard became our tagline, and the offer of free milkweed plants was a draw to bring them to our event. We started thinking about what the event would include. We looked at our own members' skills and who we knew in the community who shared our vision. The planning team reached out to different ministry groups to get their input about how their group and their contacts beyond Christ the King could engage in this community outreach event. Of course, giving away milkweed was the main activity, but we wanted to do more. And we came up with just a few more ideas. In the meantime, baby plants continued to grow, and the event planning team continued to flesh out the details for the event. We applied for a Thrivent Actions Team grant. A local bluegrass band was booked for the benefit concert. Sound was hired, and we reserved a large tent. And we received permission to show the award-winning documentary film, Flight of the Butterflies. As May approached, it was time to ramp up publicity for Monarch Fest. Now, I need to preface all of this with the note that we have a very small budget for this event, and that most of those funds were used to cover the cost of the large tent and the sound system. So we took advantage of free publicity wherever we could, connecting with our community partners to help get the word out, and taking advantage of community resources were other keys to the success of our event. We posted flyers in local businesses and created postcard invitations for our congregational members to share with their friends and neighbors. We delivered personal invitations to the neighbors directly surrounding our church. We created a Monarch Fest Facebook page and shared information about Monarch Fest on Christ the King's website. We posted events on free local online community calendars, Cincinnati.com, Butler County Visitors Bureau, and the Pulse Journal, our local newspaper. We shared flyers with local schools, scout troops, garden clubs, churches in the area, both non-ELCA and those in the Cincinnati Conference. And the Senate shared information on their weekly newsletter. This was great, but one of the most exciting connections we made was with the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. The zoo was kicking off their Plant for Pollinators Challenge with the goal of registering 500 pollinator gardens. Christ the King joined the program as an official partner. This meant that we would promote their program at our event and offer their planting resources. Good, free stuff for us. And they would list our event on their calendar. Yay, more free publicity. And also provide a speaker. Nothing like having one of the top botanical gardens in the country share your event with their audience of thousands. Another exciting connection was made with the local magazine, Westchester Liberty Lifestyles. We approached them with a request for ad space, but they ended up writing an article about Youth for Monarchs and Monarch Fest. Again, more free publicity, this time mailed directly to most of the households in our community. To help stretch our thin budget, we used our Thrivent grant to make low-cost street banners at the Maker Station at Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library's main campus, and to purchase yard signs. The big day was finally here. We didn't know how many people to expect. We just hoped that some would show up. And they did. In total, over 100 community members came to Monarch Fest in 2019, and we collected a good number of email addresses for future communications. We gave away 250 milkweed plants. All ages learned about monarchs from Kathy Sharvat, a naturalist who works at Great Parks of Hamilton County. And they enjoyed the Flight of the Monarch film. People learned about the importance of native plants from Chris McCullough, Master Gardener and Vice President of Cincinnati's chapter of Wild Ones. Susan Fox, Christ the King member and landscape architect, gave tours of our church property, highlighting native plants and answering questions about garden design. The pollinator plant sale, in a partnership with Natorp's Nursery, offered additional plants for people to purchase for their gardens. Kids loved the butterfly wings, face painting, pollinator parade, and the science activity. Christ the King's troubadours played throughout the event. The hot dog stand was busy, and the Music with a Mission concert featuring bluegrass band Kentucky 31 and other fundraising opportunities brought in over $320 for the Pollinator Partnership, an international organization which works to promote the health of pollinators, critical to both food and ecosystems through conservation, education, and research. In the end, we were very pleased with how Monarch Fest had turned out, but exhausted. It had been a long, hot day, and as with most events, we had learned a lot.